Hi everyone. Today we are going to start a lecture on the topic autobiographical elements in D.H. Lawrence Sons and Lovers. I am Dr. Savita, Assistant Professor of English, Shaheed Uddham Singh Government College, Matak Majri. Let us discuss. First of all, we must know about the novelist David Herbert Lawrence. He was born on September 11, 1885, Eastwood, Nottinghamshire, England, and died on March 2, 1930, Vence, France. He was an English author of novels, short stories, poems, plays, essays, travel books, and letters. His novels, Sons and Lovers, 1913, The Rainbow, 1915, and Women in Love, 1920, made him one of the most influential English writers of the 20th century. Lawrence's writing explores issues such as sexuality, emotional health, vitality, spontaneity, and human relationships. He was a versatile genius who excelled in many fields. He was a great poet, a great short story writer, as well as a critic of great insight and penetration. However, it is as a novelist that he is chiefly remembered today. Now, we will discuss what an autobiographical novel is. Autobiographical novel is a work of fiction that is based on the life of the author. It is different from an autobiography because it does not claim to be entirely true. It is a form of novel using autofiction techniques or merging of autobiographical and fictive elements. Fictive means something that is created by imagination. It's a hybrid genre. Hybrid means it's anything which is mixture of two or more things. Genre is a style that involves a particular set of characteristics. It's a hybrid genre in which authors take elements from their actual lives but present them in a fictionalized form. Let's move on to the next slide. Here we will discuss Sons and Lovers as an autobiographical novels. Now we'll talk about what critics said about this novel. D.H. Lawrence is one of the greatest novelists of 20th century. Almost all his novels deal vividly with his personal life. Middleton Murray exclaims his writings are an expression of his inner sufferings, frustrations, and emotional complexes. They are all in the nature of personal revelations, some more, some less, but autobiographical note runs through them all. What Graham Huff finds in his works, several layers of his experiences, some very close to biographical actuality, some more remote, the element of autobiographical constantly obtrude itself in Lawrence fiction. What Diana Neil writes, Sons and Lovers, is largely autobiographical. Now we will discuss the autobiographical elements in Sons and Lovers. Sons and Lovers in an autobiographical novel, as autobiographical as Arnold Bennett's Clayhanger and first half of Charles Dickens' David Copperfield. It has its roots deeper in Lawrence's childhood and youth. It is full of with his haunting remembrances, recollections, and relationships. In the introduction to his novel by Dr. Howard J. Booth, Lawrence himself accepted that I was born hating my father as early as I can remember. I shivered with horror when he touched me. He was very bad before I was born. Further, he adds, this has been a kind of bond between me and my mother. We have loved each other almost with the husband and wife love, as well as filial and maternal. We knew each other by instinct. We have been like one, so sensitive to each other that we never needed words. So it has been rather terrible, and that has made me, in some respects, abnormal. There are other basic elements which make Sons and Lover as an autobiographical novel. Lawrence was a tortured soul for full 45 years of himself, and his writings are an expression of his inner sufferings, frustrations, and emotional complexes. They are all in the nature of personal revelations, some more, some less, but the autobiographical note runs through them all. The most striking feature of Lawrence's character is that they are projections of the novelist's personalities. Paul Morrell in Sons and Lovers is clearly a projection of him. In his characters, too, there are many similarities. They shock him darkness and bitterness of the spirit, and like him, they live passionately and fully. Walter Morrell is designed after the character of his father Arthur. Like him, Arthur was a collier and lived a life like Walter Morrell. Like Gertrude Morrell, Lawrence's mother, Lydia belonged to a middle class family. She met Arthur Lawrence as a party and attracted by his graceful dancing, musical voice, and his gallant manner and his overpowering humor and good spirits. The married life of the Lawrence was quite unhappy, like that of Morrell's in the novel. Dissatisfied with her husband, Lawrence's mother turned on her sons and made them husband substitutes emotionally. This is what Gertrude Morrell does in the novel. She first takes on William, after his death, her second son, William. Lawrence loved his mother passionately, almost like a lover. He himself accepted, as we have seen in the introduction, as Paul does with Mrs. Morrell. In a letter to Edward Garnett, Lawrence himself writes, "She has had a passion for her husband. So the children are born of passion, and some and have heaps of vitality. But as her sons grow up, as she selects them as lovers, first the eldest, then the second. These sons, urged into life by their reciprocal love of their mother, urged on and on. But they come to manhood. When they come to manhood, they can't love because their mother is the strongest power in their lives and holds them. As soon as young men come into the contact with other women, there is a split. Split means break something forcibly into parts. And once Lawrence's mother took him to a farm of Mr. and Mrs. Chambers. Lawrence was 15 then. There he met Jessie Chambers, and soon he became a regular visitor at farm because of Jessie's growing intimacy with Lawrence. In the novel, we have Lever's family living at Willey Farm. Paul becomes a frequent visitor at this farm. Lawrence's attachment to Jessie has its counterpart in Paul's attachment to Miriam, a daughter of Lever's family. In short, the love affair of Lawrence and Jessie serves as the basis for the love affair of Paul and Miriam, both in its positive and negative sides. Later on, soon afterwards, Lawrence began an affair with the married woman, Alice Dax. Alice was deeply interested in the campaign which was going on in favor of the rights of women. In the novel, Paul develops a friendship with Clara Daves, a married woman who is living separately from her husband, Baxter Daves. In due course of the time, Paul establishes a physical union with Clara. Clara too is an active worker in the cause of women's rights. Eventually, Clara breaks off her adulterous relationship with Paul, just as Alice had broken off a similar relationship with Lawrence. The novel is also subjective in certain scenes and locale. It records the places and the incidents that were a part and parcel of Lawrence's own life. Bestwood in the novel is actually Eastwood, the village where the Lawrence was born and brought up. He had lived there from his early childhood and had watched the mining activity going on there. Now we will conclude the question. D.H. Lawrence, Sons and Lover is not purely an autobiographical novel. Rather, it is an imaginative reconstruction of the beautiful incidents of his life on the basis of the memory of certain characters, places, and situations. As such, it can be called the semi-autobiographical book, as Richard Church suggests. Moreover, Jessie Chambers too had a complaint that Lawrence had not portrayed the true kind of relationship between him and her in Paul-Miriam relationship. In fact, Lawrence applied his authority as an artist in giving an entirely new interpretation to many of the events. In a nutshell, we can say that it is a semi-autobiographical novel. Thank you so much. Here we have references.